Hello, this is NDeleon, and I will be presenting to you a proposal to implement a new learning management system called Spectrum, which is a hybrid system within Cal State San Bernardino's Pride Center. Let's begin. This implementation proposal will follow a 6-step plan, which is first, external and internal environmental factors of the Pride Center will be analyzed, and then a change initiative will be developed and designed with the assistance of a representative committee within the Pride Center. And then step 3 would be to present the change to stakeholders. Step 4, implement change and monitor progress through various assessments. Step 5 would be to conduct focus group examinations after the first year to see if the mission of the change has been accomplished. And the final step would be a closure committee, as well as meeting where the overall change will be assessed and any future implementations would be planned or changes made. So let's move on. So, as I said before, step 1 is analyze internal and external organization environment. Now, within Cal State San Bernardino, as well as all other universities, there is a growing responsibility to adapt and integrate new technologies that meet technology-based learning styles and needs of current and future students. Now, these styles have not been seen in previous generations. And what makes them unique is that with current and future students, or digital native students, they prefer to take a more active and student-centered approach in their education while using many types of digital technology to accomplish their needs. Now, with the need for universities to grow and adapt, there also is the need for various components of student affairs, such as student union and campus-based cultural resource centers, such as the Pride Center, to also grow and integrate new and innovative technology-based resources, which is why I believe the implementation of the Spectrum learning management system would be necessary at this time. Now, moving into step 2, the design and development phase, there will be a Spectrum development committee established, and within that committee would be the technology coordinator, as well as the Pride Center director and/or graduate student, 1 to 2 members of the Pride Center staff, as well as representatives of students on campus who would be using this system within various workshops held. Now, the factors that have led to choosing to implement a learning management system have been that, in general, learning management systems are a type of management applications, and they're available to their users 24 hours, 7 days a week. And this access provides these users, students, course materials, as well as it enables instructors to monitor their students' progress within various instructional activities, as well as it facilitates communication between instructor and student, and it's a platform for delivering course content. So in the case of the Pride Center, it would be their safe zone programming, which is various workshops and such. Also, learning management systems save time as well as costs, since it's all web-based, and it enhances the communication instruction and enriches it, as well as it allows the integration of multiple types of educational multimedia tools, such as blogs and podcasts and many other forms, which further enhances student learning. Now, moving into step 3, once the development committee has established what Spectrum is, then it will be presented to stakeholders. Now, before we move into that, though, I would like to give you a brief overview of what Spectrum basically is. It is a asynchronous, synchronous, or hybrid learning management system. And by the hybrid, I mean that it is a blend of instructor-led lessons within virtual learning environments, as well as a customized learning management system, whereas it has the various components that would generally go into a management system, such as a forum, a assignment section, an area for course materials, but it would also provide many other resources, such as self-paced tutorials, links to more external resources that would enrich the lesson plan, as well as it would also fully engage and motivate its students through the best practices of face-to-face instruction, as well as using those effective online components. And by that, it would allow students to move at their own pace, as well as revisit and skip concepts that they either need more work on or are already fairly knowledgeable in, where they might feel more comfortable skipping it, as well as receiving guidance from instructor, peer, and programmed feedback. Now, as Spectrum is presented to stakeholders, it will be done within an off-site meeting held during the summer before the fall term begins. And stakeholders in this case would include the Santos Manuel Student Union administrators, other resource directors within the student union, as well as staff, gender and sexuality department faculty, considering Spectrum will be used primarily within safe zone workshops, as well as CSUSB students who will be utilizing Spectrum within their learning. And also, such a meeting would provide stakeholders an opportunity to voice their concerns, as well as contribute more to the decision process, as well as it allows the committee to present to stakeholders the potential benefits and opportunities that Spectrum would provide. Now, also during this meeting, there will be discussion of a 2-day training also within the summer before the fall term begins. And during this training, it's mandatory participation for Safe Zone program facilitators who will be using Spectrum within their program, as well as it will begin with a questionnaire assessing prior awareness and knowledge and beliefs regarding the technology as well as the content. So it would allow areas that might need to be strengthened to develop a bit more, as well as there will be an overview of operational guidelines for logging in, navigating, and facilitating workshops using the Spectrum system, as well as technical troubleshooting strategies that facilitators as well as students might be able to use in case they run into issues. And also is during this step that there is a program, that the program process, the implementation program, is evaluated through questionnaires regarding the effect of the change, comments and concerns, where adjustments might be necessary. And throughout the implementation process, it will be conducted first within 6 weeks of the fall semester, and then it would be 6 months into the change, and then at the conclusion of the school year. And it was also during this time that student personnel and students should be encouraged to share their concerns with Pride Center staff as well as the technology coordinator and director, so that any changes that are necessary can be accomplished and put into effect. It is also during this time that possible barriers and resistance will be noted, such as inadequate equipment, or administrators may lack proper understanding of innovative technology, tools, and strategies, or facilitators may lack proper training, or just the curricula of the safe zone training might be too rigid, and it won't allow time and opportunities for the new technology to take hold. But the training in the summer prior to the fall quarter should address many of these concerns, especially administrators lacking proper understanding as well as facilitators lacking proper training. And another way to get past resistance and encourage buy-in by stakeholders is to further reinforce the benefits of the Spectrum system. Now, it was also during the implementation stage, there would be pilot testing, which would come in 2 stages. The first, alpha testing, would be where Spectrum is given an internal test within the Pride Center by its staff and the director. And any initial bugs can be found then and fixed. And once that's been done, then would move into beta testing. And from there, Spectrum is distributed to select external groups who are representative of target demographics that Spectrum would be being used by, such as members of the Gender and Sexuality Studies Department or other cultural resource centers or other departments on campus. And once they've gone through it and tested it, they would provide their feedback, and based from the feedback, any revisions or alterations would be made to Spectrum so that it would be ready for general distribution. Moving into step 5, after the first year, a focus group will be conducted to examine the implementation, and during the focus group, it will allow the Pride Center staff, especially the technology coordinator, to gain a greater understanding of experiences and assess what components were most and least effective, and assess if initial objectives and goals of the program were met. Finally, in the very last step, change agent and leaders will end the implementation change with a closure meeting. And during this meeting, it will discuss the successes and weaknesses of the Spectrum LMS system. They'll find ways to anchor the change into the Pride Center culture, so that if the technology coordinator were to leave his or her position, Spectrum would still remain firmly ingrained within the Pride Center's programming, as well as there would be a discussion of future changes and other technologies that could be implemented, as well as a final written report of the change, which include the original cause, activities that were conducted, and evaluation efforts. I hope you all enjoyed my presentation on implementing the Spectrum Learning Management System. If anyone has any questions regarding Spectrum or have any other inquiries related to integrating new educational technology at the Pride Center, I welcome you to submit your question to me at NDeleon, Santos Manuel Student Union, room 112 at 5500 University Parkway, San Bernardino, California, 92407-2318. And I will be happy to answer to the best of my ability. Thank you.